Hey, friend, and welcome back to the Should Dreams All Day podcast, or should I say, the Should Dreams All Day show, because yes, it's a show, and I'm also going to be uploading this episode to YouTube. So that's very new. It's a new thing we're doing. Nevertheless, welcome. I am so excited that you are tuning in today because today I want to talk about a very important topic, something that I feel is going to help you a lot on your entrepreneurial journey as an introvert and wanting to do all the things that you want to do. It's all about how to make friends and online connections as an introverted entrepreneur. I get it. It's hard. You love being alone. One of the reasons you probably started this business was to be able to be more on your own in solitude and recharge your batteries, working from home, spending time alone. I get it. But I will be the first to admit that I took so long, too long to make any connections online. I wish I had done it sooner. I was staying in my little secret blogger bubble, telling no one about it, and just basically staying in this bubble for way too long. Had I known what I know now about making connections and friendships online, I would have left my cozy comfort zone earlier to make those connections. Because entrepreneurship can be so lonely. So lonely, in fact. And although we, the introverts, the amazing people of the world, we love to spend time alone and we thrive in solitude, and that's great. We love it, right? But that doesn't mean that we want to feel lonely. I sure as heck don't want to feel all alone in this world. No, that is not the vibe. And it's only human nature to want to feel part of something, part of the pack, and to belong. After all, we are essentially wired for connections since way back in the day. When the solitude goes on long enough, as it did for me, doing all of this alone and literally talking to no one about it because I was in my head, I was worried what they would think, it was not a thing I did. I did everything by myself. And I had no one who understood what it was like to be on this journey for 3 whole years. If this solitude goes on for long enough, it can really take a toll on your mental health and your overall well-being. I felt so isolated, to be honest. It was not a vibe, and it's not something I recommend. And so that's why I'm recording this episode today, because I want to share with you why it's so important to make connections online and why it can be worth your time, even as an introvert. In the beginning, for me, the reasons I didn't make an effort to talk to other people about my new online business endeavors was because, yes, I was worried about what other people thought about me, but also they just didn't get it. People from my real life did not get what I was doing online. They didn't get that I needed to build an email list, post weekly blog posts, utilize Pinterest for traffic, optimize my blog posts for SEO, and to create content in the first place. They did not understand. But you know what I should have done? Made connections with real people, like-minded peeps who got it, who were on the same journey as I was. I eventually did though, but I only did that 3 years too late. The very first connection and the first friend that I made online was actually by hiring my very first business mentor, Erin May Henry. And shout out to you, Erin. You might be watching this. Hello, I love you. Erin had been someone that I'd been following for a while. And even though we are extremely different, she is a full-blown extrovert and I, as you know, full-blown introvert over here. Hello, my name is Mia and I'm an introvert. We were also alike in many ways, and I felt this instant connection to her. And so I hired her as a business coach and our friendship began. Now, our relationship wasn't strictly professional. After our first call, I can only assume that she felt the same way. We both made a new friend, and it was the start of a beautiful friendship. Oh my God, that totally sounds like someone narrating a 90s rom-com or something like that. Anyway, in fact, I actually just rehired Erin to work with her again because I want her in my life. I want her support and accountability in my life, and her amazingness in my life. Another thing that I did, I went out of my comfort zone to make connections, was by joining a mastermind, which was about 6 months later after having worked with Erin and began that relationship. In this mastermind, I connected with some amazing people and entrepreneurs, like-minded people who got it because they were also business owners. They were also content creators. So we share the same struggles. We share the same dreams, ideas, everything. It was beautiful and so much fun, believe it or not. I honestly didn't think that these weekly Zoom calls that we had during this mastermind would give me so much energy. And that sounds super weird as a full-blown introvert, but they really did. They gave me energy that I didn't even know that I could acquire. Because I thought these weekly calls were going to drain me and that I wouldn't be able to schedule any other calls or meetings during the days that I had my mastermind calls. But it actually had the opposite effect on me. I felt more energized, more seen, less alone. And I was generally a lot happier and a better mood after we ended our calls. And funnily enough, this was actually the same experience that I had launching my 101 coaching program. Because before launching that program, I didn't think I was made to do one-to-one work. I thought these weekly calls would drain me, but in fact, they didn't. But again, I was wrong. I'm wrong a lot, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Because being able to connect with someone on a weekly Zoom call was exactly what I needed. And now I'm literally obsessed with all my clients and the work that we do together. Now, I'm not saying that you have to hire a coach, join an expensive mastermind, or hop on calls with people that you don't know, but I just want to share my experience with you in hopes that you don't make the same mistake that I did, which was to wait way too long before I made any connections online. Because you might be like me, and you probably are like me, and you feel like, yeah, I'm better off alone. I love spending time alone. I don't need people in my life. I hate people. Yeah, sound familiar? Now that I quit my 9-to-5, I don't want to talk to anyone again. But that gets old. And it gets old fast. And as humans, we crave connections. We really do, believe it or not. When you're in a 9-to-5 or you work at a cafe or something like that, or you go to college, or basically just live a life where you have natural interactions with other people, it might not be obvious to you what those daily interactions does to you. Does to your mood, your energy levels. Because the littlest of connections can make a huge difference, even for us introverts. When it's with the right people, I may add, right? Even if all you did one day was say hi to the guy or the gal who makes you coffee in the morning. Some days that is enough social interaction for me. So with all this said, how do you make connections online? How do you start to make friends with people in this weird online space? Weird, but beautiful and amazing and full of possibilities. How do you do that as an introvert in business? Now, a little warning, a little heads up, rather. I know all of these tips that I'm about to give you are going to exist outside your comfort zone, but I'm going to urge you to take baby steps. Take baby steps, outside your comfort zone. And just try this out one step at a time. Because it's beautiful out there on the other side of your comfort zone. It really is. It can be. Alrighty. Tip number 1 to make connections online is join communities. Join communities on the internet. It's not as scary as it was back in the day. There are tons of amazing safe spaces online where you can connect with like-minded people. You can join a membership. You can join free groups on Facebook. So for example, whatever you're interested in or whatever your business is based around, type in a couple of your keywords in the Facebook search bar and see what comes up, what kind of groups come up, and just join a couple of them. You don't have to engage right away. Lurk around for a few days and see what people are saying, how they're interacting with each other, and see if it's your vibe. And then I'm going to encourage you to introduce yourself in those groups. I know, this is the scary part, but it's online. It's not like you're going to be in a room filled with people. It's just you and your computer and that group of thousands of people, but that's okay because they're all alone in their own way, but together in the group. Another thing that you can do is actually create your own community. Either a free or a paid community for your business and your audience. There's so many amazing places online right now where you can create communities. There's Circle, Vibely, Facebook. What else is there? Discord. There are tons of platforms you can use to start and grow a community. This is a great way to get people who resonate with you and are into the same things that you are because they are in fact your audience and following you online, and get these people together and interact with them and get to know your audience better, which is a bonus in and of itself. So create your own community and invite your email list and your Instagram followers to join this group. Some of the people who I interact with and talk to the most online are actually people who are in my audience or have been in my membership that I previously had. So definitely a great way to meet some amazing and extraordinary people who are into the same things as you are. Tip number 3, stalk and talk, baby. Stalk and talk. I know this sounds like something that we as introverts don't want to be doing. Stalking people. Well, maybe. Stalking people and then talking to people. What I mean is go onto Instagram, type in your keywords for your niche, or start to follow some people that you resonate with and you like their profile and the content that they're putting out there, and just engage. Be genuine. Comment on their posts. Follow them before you comment. You know, when people comment on my posts and I see that they don't even follow me, I'm like, is this a genuine comment or are you just looking for clients? So we want to be super genuine here. When you like and comment and even DM with another account and people can see that you're actually engaging with other people, it makes you more approachable for other people as well. So just something to think about, and be yourself. Maybe you even get the guts to send them a DM where you introduce yourself and you say something like, hey, I'm an introvert, huge introvert. In fact, I'm just reaching out to people that I love and admire and I love their content. And you're one of those people and just wanted to make the connection, love your content, good vibes. Your name. Something like that. Like, be very honest about the fact that you are an introvert and this is not easy for you to make these connections, but you're doing it. So seek out other introverts. Maybe even ask them to join you for a virtual coffee over Zoom. If the connection is there and you can feel it and you've had an interaction, you've had a conversation going in the DMs for a couple of days. Try it. What have you got to lose? Like, in all honesty, what have we really got to lose? Now, this next thing that I'm about to share might sound a little bit crazy. I don't know. It might sound a little bit crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. But it is to track your connections. I'm such a nerd and I love ClickUp, and I even have a course all about ClickUp. Dream Plan Do with ClickUp. If you're in that course, you will know how much of a nerd I am. So I like to keep everything organized because as an introvert in business, I need to stay organized to have the energy to do anything. And so I also track my connections. I will create a board, a list of people that I have engaged with, reached out to. I will, add their email, their Instagram account, and just keep track of the people that I've actually reached out to so that I can follow up with them. And maybe even down the line, ask to be on this show. That might not always be the case, but most people that I have on here are people that I've reached out to and cultivated a relationship with. So just something to consider if you are reaching out to a lot of people and you want to make sure that you follow up with them and keep in touch. It's not a bad idea. It doesn't make you crazy to track those people in your ClickUp. So just wanted to mention that. The next thing you can do to make connections online is something that I have done myself, which is to join a mastermind. How do you find a mastermind? To be honest, what you need to do is seek out people you look up to, business coaches, entrepreneurs, content creators that you love. Maybe you bought a course from them, and see if they have a mastermind. Maybe even reach out to them and say, hey, do you have a mastermind going on? I would love to join, and I would love the high-level support from you and the other peers. So that's something that you can consider, which leads me to the next tip, which is to hire a coach. I'm not saying that you have to spend thousands of dollars to make a friend. That's not what this is about. But if you need the high-level support, if you need the accountability, if you need the clarity and the guidance when it comes to running a business as an introvert, working with a coach might not be a bad idea. And the bonus here is you're going to make a connection and a friend for life if you and that coach are a match made in heaven, which you probably will be if you look up to this person and you love their content. It's going to be a mutual thing. Last but not least, I just want to share a few prompts or give you some tips when it comes to actually starting a conversation with someone. First of all, ask lots of questions, lots of open questions to keep the conversation going and flowing and for it to not be awkward. You know what I mean? Google this, Google open questions, and you'll find tons of examples. But we want to make sure that the conversation is, it's a natural conversation and you're not just copy pasting questions from Google, but asking questions is great so that it's always a back and forth. So it's not a closed off conversation. Like there's no room for any more questions to be asked. Always follow up and ask questions. Be vulnerable and open up about your struggles, what you're going through in business. This is really going to help make that connection deeper and stronger and more real, because you're not just reaching out and talking about, oh, the weather's great today. You're actually talking about real important things. So dare to be vulnerable, dare to open up about your struggles, but then also share your wins in business with this person or people. So those are just some tips. Saying all of this, it's not about having so many friends that you can't even count on your hands. It's always going to be quality over quantity. As introverts, we know this. We don't like having all the people in our space. We like to have the good people, the best people, right? So when you are reaching out to people, it is okay if some of the relationships or most of the relationships don't work out. If there isn't a spark there, it's completely fine. That happens. It's going to happen if you reach out to people. You're going to get rejected. You're going to not feel that spark with the other person, but you might also get lucky and make an online friend for life. So it really is worth it. And as you're doing this work, you're, by the way, also going to become quite the badass at networking. Pow, wow, wow, which is pretty cool. And networking plus introverts, not a thing. It's not really a thing that we're good at. So congratulations. This also isn't the case of having a small talk to save your life. No way. This is about something more meaningful and deeper than that. It's about cultivating long-lasting relationships, real connections, where sparks fly and all that jazz. That's what the goal is, not to talk about the weather. After all, that's what we, the introverts of the world, are into, right? Deep connections. None of that shallow, awkward stuff. This is about good quality conversations, because introverts are pretty darn amazing at talking once we get going and with the right people. Plus, we're excellent listeners, which makes the whole conversation, the whole experience, all the better. We're excellent at a lot of things, by the way, if you hadn't realized. We see people, we read people. We're able to connect with people on a deep and meaningful level. We're intuitive and amazing human beings. And we do have a lot to share, right? All that thinking, all that overthinking, all that analyzing, overanalyzing, put it out there and share it with someone. Making connections and new online friends gets to feel safe. It gets to be fun. It gets to be simple. Life is too short to be alone all the time, especially in the entrepreneurial world. Even for introverts, that will get old, being alone. We don't want to feel lonely. Plus, by having a couple of Zoom calls per week, you're still going to have a lot of time left over to recharge your social batteries. After all, now that you're living the pajama lifestyle, or you will soon, if you're not currently. But my friend, I hope this episode was helpful. Making connections online is super, super important. If you take away one thing from this episode, I want it to be a thing that you actually implement and take action on, which is to make a connection. Make a connection this week with someone that you admire and you follow online. Do it and let me know on Instagram stories how that goes. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Your Dreams All Day show. And I will see you, because you can see me now because we're on YouTube, and I will hear you, and I'll catch you next time as well. Love you. Bye. So the first step oh my God, I always feel like this is very bright. This is the first time that I'm recording a video and recording the podcast at the same time. Who knows what this is going to sound like? I have no idea, but we're just going to go with it. Hello, welcome to the Your Dreams All Day show. I am so excited to talk to you. Okay, is that a blooper? I don't know. Oh my God, I need water. Connections. What is that? Is that the saying that you can't even count on your hands? I don't know. We're doing it. We're going outside our comfort zones. Also, do we like my new microphone? I think it's quite fabulous. We shall see how this goes.